Oh, sorry, guys. You caught me in the middle of a celebration. Yes, in case you haven't seen yet, I'm sure this is not news, but Britain votes to leave the EU. Cameron plans to step down. Could there be theoretically even a more beautiful headline from the New York Times? And did anyone think they were going to be waking up to headlines like this today? I certainly didn't. I'm glad that it's here. Now, obviously, we have to be cautious. This is not the end of the road. This is only the beginning of a beginning. But let's just take a moment to bask in the moment and to thank our British brethren for making the right decision. And oddly, it wasn't stolen from under their nose this time. EU referendum results leave 52%, remain 48%. And yes, if you do want to bask in the moment, I suggest you follow the Brexit hashtag on Twitter, where you can hear all the broken-hearted globalists crying their tears over the European Union. Oh, what does this mean for the European project? Oh, it's just, so terrible. It's really quite beautiful to see all of this. But, I suppose, yes, let's not get too carried away. As I say, it's just the beginning of a beginning. It's going to be an interesting and lengthy process, and there's going to be all sorts of political maneuverings. It's not like globalism has just suddenly died. And there are many, many things that we should be thinking about, including something that I mentioned, of course, in the last edition of QFC, where I was talking about Brexit. For example, if the UK does leave Europe, then clearly that's going to have economic consequences, not just on Britain, but on Europe, that will that could destabilize the global economy. And more importantly, the type of psychological mechanism that will be used either to prevent Britain from voting for Brexit because, hey, look what you guys are going to do to the world economy. Or if it happens and it actually does go through, then they could come around and say, look, you guys caused the death of the world economy. That's why we need more regional governments and globalism. Indeed. Well said, James, because that's exactly, of course, what's happening today. Brexit infects global markets as unprecedented moves accumulate. The pound plunged by a record, and the euro slid by the most since it was introduced. The FTSE 100 index plunged, and S&P 500 index contracts and Asian stocks dropped by the most in 10 months. It's scary, and I've never seen anything like it. Be afraid. Be very afraid, because now the people of the UK are not going to be governed from Brussels. Oh, no. Oh, it's terrible. It's a travesty. Okay, first of all, let's put it in perspective. What's being lost here is paper, nominal wealth on the phony baloney stock market that generally is affecting global institutions and large multinational corporations. So, I mean, that's the first order that we have to take this on. But to be fair, I mean, I'm sure that this economic pain, should it continue, will filter down to the average worker. So they're going to try to use that to, again, turn the screw and say, you guys voted wrong, let's do it again. So it's not a good situation in the markets, but it is for certain people who are positioned to benefit from it. Did somebody say George Soros? Yes. Yes, if you don't know about Soros and his relation to the last precipitous plunge in the pound, or what he might be doing lurking in the shadows of this precipitous plunge in the pound, I suggest that you check out this weekend's subscriber editorial. I'm going to be writing about the Soros and his connections to this, as well as the ramifications, what this means, how this is going to proceed, what the next step is politically, etc. So I'm going to be writing about all of that. But if you really want nightmares tonight, just do this. That is straight out of a horror movie. That is truly something else. And yes, we should also be cautious. This does not mean, yay, let's rally around the Union Jack. Nationalism is not opposed to globalism. Nationalism is just a stepping stone on the road to globalism. It is subsuming individual sovereignty in a collective, and all they do is change the color of the flag that you're saluting. So no, nationalism and wrapping yourself in the Union Jack is not the answer to this. And for people who need elaboration on that very simple concept, but one that many people do not understand, how to really defeat globalism, up on corbettreport.com. We'll put the link in the show notes. But as I say, maybe let's just take one moment, if we can, just once, to bask in some good news. And there could not be any better news to come from all of this than this.
The British people have made a very clear decision to take a different path. And as such, I think the country requires fresh leadership to take it in this direction. I will do everything I can as Prime Minister to steady the ship over the coming weeks and months. But I do not think it would be right for me to try to be the captain that steers our country to its next destination.
To which I only have one thing to say. Yes, bye-bye, David. You will not be missed, and don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. James Corbett, CorbettReport.com.